Hi, welcome to CineMunn Podcast. We are back with another new show tonight. Joined once again with Golden Delicious himself, Ty Metropolis, and our new mysterious friend from the East. How far east are you? Korea? We're just going to call him BJ tonight.
Oh, screw you.
No, thank you. Please stop. It's really creepy that you offer that over and over again.
Language.
Yeah, language. Watch your language on the show. This is a family show. We are going to go over just a couple quick topics, like lightning round, and then we are talking about Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm hoping you've seen this movie by now. If not, what the hell are you doing with your time? And then don't listen to the show because we will be getting deep into spoilers. Like, really deep. Like, so far in the closet you're finding Christmas presents deep.
Oh, I thought you were going for a pun there.
Wow, really? Really?
Well, that is the Disney way.
Language. Okay, so a couple quick topics really quick. Over the last few days, David Ayer has tweeted out a picture of his full main cast for Suicide Squad, featuring Margot Robbie, Will Smith, Joel Kinnaman, Michael Pena, Adewale, and in their lovely roles of Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Rick Flag, Captain Boomerang. This looks like bad cosplay to me. I'm sorry, it bothered me.
Yeah, that was my initial kind of reaction when I saw all of them standing. I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the makeup and stuff looks fine, but it's just their posture, the pose, the charisma of the characters and everything. Yeah. I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't feel anything when I saw them all lined up. I'm like, so where's the personality of this character as opposed to this character and this character? And it's like, it's just all of them still, like, given...
It looked like a high school group photo.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say mugshots,
even
mugshots have personality.
Even the lighting, like, it was just too bright. Like, obviously, I think with this film, we're going to see...
We're not being picky. We're actually depicting how this picture...
We're actually talking about how the picture looks. If you've seen the picture, you know what we're talking about, and maybe you have issues with it, too. I have no problem with the way they look. I can live with that. Obviously, once you get under studio lighting and finalizing and lighting the film the way you want it to, they're going to look different. You're going to add effects into it.
Yeah.
Be it glistens on the skin, little tweaks to eyes here and there. Mm-hmm. But overall, I mean, just as a straight shot, it looks like something you'd see at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And that's what bothered me.
Well, again, that's working with all those guys is like, how much time do you have to really develop each single outfit?
You have a lot of time. You're on a studio budget. You've got plenty of time.
Yeah, their studio budgets range from...
Okay, a film like this, which Warner Brothers is banking on to make money because it's going to be part of their DC universe, including Man of Steel, Batman, all that.
And with Green
Lantern, you're going to be pushing your budget upwards of $100 million.
PC. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, with the special effects and everything, they're going to make up for that. But to me, my initial and. We'll actually get into this later with because you talked about Age of Ultron later. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be talking about the marketing as well too. But like as for me, that's the first thing for me when I see this picture. It is the marketing aspect of Suicide Squad. We've all had our opinions on it, and now they come out with a picture, and like you said, it looks like bad cosplay or a high school photo, and that's exactly my initial thought. I'm like, this is not selling me.
It's
not selling me the movie. I really need something to like hold on to or grab onto. I need kind of like some hope for this. And like you said, it's going to have a large budget, but just because it has a large budget doesn't mean it's going to be good. I mean, look at...
Tonight we're watching Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Large budget. Not a great film.
Yeah. Thank you, Sony.
There you go. Here's your comparison.
Going off that idea kind of is like, I haven't really followed it besides the stuff on Facebook and just looking at it really quick. For me, this doesn't really like generate any interest for me.
Yeah.
Like as of right now, the trailer might be kick-ass, and I'll go, okay, cool, I want to go see that. But other than that, it's just like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. But with like Deadpool with
With Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, what he's doing, that's
little stuff
cool.
On Twitter here and
there.
Him posting that stuff, that's really cool.
He's already made the selling point for that.
And he's already putting his personality
into the role.
Or Deadpool's personality into his tweets. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
No.
He's adding to it. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Over the last, let's say 48 hours, we've been having a lot of different news. Today, Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, who is running Lucasfilm under Disney, announced that they are moving forward with Indiana Jones 5. Indiana Jones 5...
The Last Avenger.
No. Yeah. Indiana Jones and Captain America kick Hitler's ass. The sequel. No. Right? They're all going to go find the Ark. together, holding
Captain
hands.
America versus the Hulk.
Captain America.
Or no, Indiana Jones versus the Hulk.
Indiana Jones versus the Hulk with the whip, and that's it. Good luck. No, with Lucasfilm announcing this, I'm excited for it. I'm honestly hoping. I know a lot of people still want to hold on to Harrison Ford in the role. I'm sorry.
Shia LaBeouf.
I'm sorry it doesn't work. Crystal Skull has proven that. Unfortunately, if you keep Indiana Jones in the timeline that he is, where he gets older, it's not going to work out.
No, it's not going to work.
So I'm hoping this is a reboot. I know names like Chris Pratt have been thrown around, Bradley Cooper's been thrown around under potential heirs to the Fedora. So I'm really hoping that my money's on Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt has made money for Disney with Guardians of the Galaxy. He's right now on the brink of becoming a even bigger movie star than he already is with Jurassic World coming out.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Magnificent Seven remake in production right now. So this guy is on his way. I think Indiana Jones will just be another jewel in that crown of his for, I've got this franchise under my belt now too.
Yeah, it's not something I would have liked to see start over, but at the same time, like me and you in the past have debated about formulas, where it does work, where it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Indiana Jones, he is a character that belongs in his time. Yes. He doesn't belong in the new age. Next thing you know, it'll be like Indiana Jones versus cyborgs or something.
Indiana Jones and cyber terrorism.
Right, if they keep going at it. And they can't, you don't want that. You want to see, that's what you grew up with. You grew up with the classics. Keep it a classic by, keeping it back in its time. If you make it, the only thing still to me I'm kind of skeptical on is they'll keep it back in the time, but now dazzle it up with 3D or special effects. I don't want 3D or special effects.
I have no problem. 3D bothers me. Obviously, a lot of these are all 3D post-conversions after they film it, which just looks god-awful anyways. If you go into the production with 3D in mind and you film it 3D, it looks better.
Did you see the, what was it?
What?
The South Park when they were making fun of George Lucas putting digital effects on everything?
Yeah.
All bad guys in Indiana Jones have walkie-talkies as guns.
Well, that's poke at E.T., right?
No, I know.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm just...
I know.
It's like, I'm not saying Disney's going to go with that approach, but I'm just saying it's one of those things, to me, it's like CG... It can be good for the most part, but you have to have the right take on it. I've seen some movies where CG is just
awful.
Yeah. It's hurt it.
And I think
I'm one for practical effects. I think Indiana Jones, kind of being that age, that film deserves practical effects. Especially if you're going to go back, everybody's going to kind of look for their. They're going to expect their scene with the guy's face melting off when they opened up the Ark of the Covenant.
That's only if you redo Ark. I don't think they're going to remake the original films. I think they're going to take the character and put him in that situation. I don't know if you guys play more video games than I do. I don't know if you remember the PC game of Indiana Jones and Throne of Atlantis.
No.
Where he went looking for the Lost City of Atlantis.
No.
Whoa there, nerd.
You know what? I played it because it was Indiana Jones, so shut up. I think also another thing with the way that Episode 7 is looking, with a lot of it's being shot in real locations, with real set pieces, with real props, with that little droid is a real practical droid that they filmed. It's not a CG effect. I think that will also be a testament to, we're taking Star Wars back to its roots with that. Yeah. We're obviously adding in modern effects to help it, but we're going to keep it as grounded as possible to remind you of what you grew up with. I think if that works with Star Wars, with Episode 7, then that will then be kind of pushed as well into Indiana Jones with the same type of, we're going to film it as much on real locations outside. If we're going to be in the temple, we're going to actually build the temple. Wherever we're going to go, we're going to build it and try to make it as real as possible.
That'd be nice, but at the same time, it becomes one of the movies back in the day, could take about 2 years?
Movies still take about 2 years. Think about it.
Some movies are taking...
Age of Ultron took about 2.5, almost 3 years.
What did Fantastic Four take? It only took 7 months.
If you talk... you got
all CG.
I think that, with the exception of Fantastic Four, not to give it the benefit of the doubt or anything, but I think that was... I think they had an idea already set in mind with Fantastic Four before they started production. I think they really honestly waited till the last minute. They had everything ready, I'm sure, aside from the cast. They had the production. They had a outlined, semi-detailed script. They had ideas for costumes, for looks, for settings, all done, ready to go. And they just waited for it to get close to that deadline of them losing the rights to start production. Because then, by then, all you have to do is refine your script, cast your film, and go.
Yeah.
Everything, all the pre-production work is always done months, if not years in advance. Like, I've talked to some of the guys who worked on Ultron. He told me that a piece of art he did, I think for Cap or for Iron Man, was done 2 years ago. which was a final design, which is a design we see in the film, was done 2 years ago. Was done, finalized and done 2 years ago. So yeah, movies still. I mean, they still, especially these big tentpole films, these big kind of, in quotation, epic films that we're doing now. They do take a lot longer, and I think certain ones like Fantastic Four were already done.
Let's say Guardians also took a long
Guardians
time,
took
too.
Yeah, took freaking ever. What else came out today? Today, the Marvel and Disney has announced that Martin Freeman of The Office, the Hobbit trilogy, Sherlock on BBC, is now cast in Captain America: Civil War. As to what role, we don't know, but I don't care. As I said with these guys before we started recording, he could play a desk clerk on the helicarrier, and it would be awesome.
Spider-Man.
He can play Spider-Man. He can play Uncle Ben.
Oh, wow.
Wait, that means he has to die. Never mind. No.
Thanks.
Right? He could do whatever, and it won't matter. He's just wonderful to watch. And his little idiosyncrasies and characterization for the Hobbit are actually one of the things that kept me still interested in that film. Because at certain times, you just kind of dropped out. But watching him and his portrayal of Bilbo Baggins kept me going with the films. So I was happy with that. And they also announced that Emily Van Camp, who was last seen in Winter Soldier, will be returning to her role of Steve's neighbor, Agent 13 / Sharon Carter. If you are a fan of the books, you know that Sharon Carter becomes Steve's girlfriend, lover. We're going to stick with the term lover because the gesture I was just shown is not appropriate for our show language. So we're going to stick with those terms. Please stop doing that with your finger. So yeah, she's very hot. Oh my god. Yeah, she's a hot blonde. So I'm excited to see her come back. I'm really hoping we kind of expand more on her role. And if you've read Death of Captain America, you know her role in that. And I'm kind of wondering if they'll go down that road with her as well. With Dr. Faust and the Red Skull.
You think she's going to join Captain or be against him?
I think she'll join Cap.
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch versus Tony the Tiger.
They're dead!
It'd be funny just in the Infinity War they have Captain Crunch on a cereal box. Or a Captain America on a cereal box. And just like be that pun.
You put him on a box of Wheaties. You put Captain America on a box. I'll buy Wheaties. I'll buy them.
Where would you put Tony? Because that would be like the political views.
I put Stark on Frosted Flakes. Because Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, because
Tony Stark and Tony the Tiger.
Because everyone while they're reading this series, like they were picking sides. Oh, I'm with Captain. I'm with Tony Stark. Blah 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 blah. But like that would really be cool if you saw that representation of the people in the movie, like choosing their sides,
picking their sides,
or corporations picking their sides. You know.
Would it be like sponsored like NASCAR?
Yeah, almost.
Like Captain America's
Pepsi for Cap. Coke for Stark.
Captain America's got like a Pennzoil patch on his shoulder.
We've been branded. Because it hasn't happened already with Disney.
Tony Stark's got like a Geico logo on him or something.
15%. Yeah, that would be awesome.
He's trying to make his money
the amount of collateral damage,
right.
With Tony Stark. Makes sense.
Well, going into our Age of Ultron review, first thing I really want to quickly address is the trailers. What trailers did you get? I don't know. I think we all kind of saw Jurassic World.
Yes.
Ant-Man, obviously, is attached to that. Ant-Man is another one I'm really looking forward to this summer. Batman vs. Superman. I'm really, really happy with that, and Ben Affleck as Batman. Obviously, we've talked about it before on the show. If you haven't listened to our show, go back to some of our previous episodes. We talk a lot about Batman and Ben Affleck as Batman.
And Batman.
I've been hearing reports of Star Wars.
I got Star Wars.
You got Star Wars?
Yeah, but I was in TJ.
I went 8:30 Friday, and there was
a Star Wars trailer.
There was there was a lot.
Damn.
There was all those that you just announced off. There was
Terminator Genesis was another one I kept getting.
I didn't get Terminator, thank God.
That made me not want to watch the movie.
I did get Fantastic Four though.
Yeah, I got Fantastic Four.
That made me not want to watch the movie. That was the first time. That was the first time I ever saw that trailer because I've had no interest in this stupid movie. Now that just made me not want to see it.
Just kind of cemented.
I was sitting next to Vincent, going, "Really? Are you kidding me? Really? Like
Fox? What do you expect?"
I'm still asking, why is the Thing naked? He's walking around naked.
Why is Johnny Black? How is he related to Susan?
She's adopted.
They're going to be... I was going to say, they're going to go... Because I was thinking about that, like, after the movie. I was like, wait a minute. Isn't it Johnny and Sue Storm?
Yeah.
And the father...
She's adopted?
Yeah, she's adopted. She'll be adopted.
She'll be adopted because the father is African American.
Black.
So, and, that's... I said African American.
What? He said a dirty.
I said dirty.
He said a dirty word.
Yeah, that was a thought I had. I was like, another thing too, Fox, the reason why a ton of people are pissed at Fox for this is because Fox did come out and say, screw all the character backgrounds, we're doing what we want with these characters. They're still known as the Fantastic Four, but these characters can go any direction we want them to go. So fuck you, fuck your little comics. This is a friendly show language. Those are bleeped out, you didn't hear them. But, so there's that. Jurassic World. Shut up. Star Wars. Jurassic World, Star Wars, Fantastic Four.
Terminator Genesis.
No, Terminator.
You didn't get that one.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, yes.
Yeah.
Ant-Man
I'm glad that they're actually showing the yellow jacket. And it's kind of giving you a little bit more... Like, seeing the trailer more, it's like...
Why is he the bad guy?
I'm thinking he stole Pym's suit.
That's what
I'm thinking.
Well, what happened...
I'm thinking Pym has...
Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah.
They said, he's like, yeah, it's the same exact suit. And he's like, you tried to take this technology from me or something like that. He's like, you're trying to publicize it. Could you imagine how bad this would be if you publicize this suit? Basically,
well, no, he's trying to weaponize it.
Yeah.
Right. Yellow Jacket's trying to weaponize it, and Ant-Man? Yeah, Ant-Man's trying to keep
Adam
it.
Lang.
Yeah.
He's trying to make it private.
Oh,
Scott Lang. Yeah.
Scott Lang. There you go.
Adam's the no.
Adam's the other one.
So that's their whole deal.
Yeah. Going into Ultron, what would be the top 3 things you enjoyed about Age of Ultron?
I mean, there were some. To me, the scene with the hammer, I kind of felt like that was long. Not overdue, but just like I knew it was kind of coming. Where they would all just
try to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, you see that in the first Thor movie where they're all trying to pick it up out in the desert.
Yeah.
But now all the Avengers are together, to see him kind of like joking around and stuff like that. And it's like, the hammer. Like, why are you the only one gifted?
Because he's worthy.
I don't know.
Because he's worthy. They kind of changed that around in the movie.
I like the interaction between the superheroes doing that. They're just regular guys chilling out.
Hanging out, having beers,
they're getting drunk, and then they're like, oh, why does Thor only have the hammer? And blah, 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 blah. Let's try it out, know? And everyone's just trying to... I thought that was really cool.
Well, the other thing, too, is that when we saw... This was a bit misleading in the trailer. The trailer was misleading. We're going to go into that a little bit later because there's actually scenes in the trailer that were not in the final cut of the film.
Well, that's the power of editing. That happens all the time.
Actually, the bird's eye view. When we saw Scarlet Witch in the bird's eye view, but there should have been one more character in the bird's eye view, and that was the Vision, because the Vision was also, you could see him in the bird's eye view. He wasn't in it when they released it. So, or that scene.
Well, that's because I would hide that.
Yeah.
I would definitely hide that. I don't want you to see the Vision in the final form at all.
By the way, there might be spoilers in this section.
There's definitely going to be spoilers in this section. So if you have not seen the movie, feel free to pause this show, go see it, then come back.
There you go.
We'll wait.
Quicksilver dies.
Wow, you're a dick.
You.
Wow.
I've been holding
You didn't have time to pause the show. And you just, completely taken that surprise away. I'm sorry.
And if you're familiar with Disney into Windows...
Language.
You won't be disappointed. Yeah. So, for another thing that I'm glad. What I did like is how the Vision, they brought him in as kind of that serious character, but they immediately put a comic kind of twist vibe on him as during his introduction. That to me was great. Let me see. Oh yes, and the Hulkbuster versus the Hulk. That was.
Yeah.
After seeing the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight... I mean, here's another spoiler. This ain't really a spoiler. The fight sucked. Basically, Mayweather and Pacquiao ran off with over $200 million of people's money. Mm-hmm. Actually, the Avengers probably made over $200 million.
Yeah, 183 last time I checked.
I think the overall weekend weekend gross that Avengers pulled in was 187.
It was 187. Yeah. They said it would have easily gone up. They said
it would have passed 200 if that fight was not.
If that fight was not this weekend, but
because I think even did a survey of people who watched the fight. Like, if this was not going out, would you have gone to see Avengers?
Right.
A lot of them said
183 million was international last time I saw it. Okay.
No, international it made over 200 million.
Yeah, international it pulled over 200.
So it's already made 600.
600 and some odd.
There's 600 something million already made.
So it's already made its money back.
Oh yeah, it's already made its money back. It's already made its money back.
I think it will either tie or end up just under the original film.
Yeah.
It did not match the original film's opening weekend, which is fine. I didn't really expect it. I kind of did until I heard about the Pacquiao fight. Then I was like, maybe not. Yeah. But obviously this next weekend, there's nothing really coming out on this weekend, so I think Avengers will hold the box office for a second week. Until the 15th when Mad Max comes out, then it might actually have a
actually a friend told me Mad Max, they're like, I completely forgot about the Avengers already. I'm not saying the Avengers is bad. That's their take on Mad Max. But they could have also been like that person that's like, I've seen the Avengers 6 times already. I need something else. So that's what they could have meant by,
Stop watching it so damn much. Just go see it every couple days. That's what I do.
Like Clockwork Orange. Keep their eyes open and watch the Avengers.
My favorite bits would probably be the gang trying to pick up the hammer. That's hilarious. I loved it. It was so great. That whole little bit where they go to the farm, where they all kind of take that moment to just kind of recruit and recuperate after everything that's happened. That was nice. It's great to see them in a real-world setting. You almost can't get any more real than a farm in the middle of nowhere. A regular-looking house, a barn, an old John Deere tractor, and friggin' Thor walking up front porch steps
with
a cape with his hammer.
Speaking with Thor, they also did that. That little girl looked up at Thor, and they had the camera really low, looking up at Thor. Wasn't that? Did they have something like that in the first Thor movie where he was depicted like that? Like he's really tall.
Not that I recall.
They did.
Not that I recall in my head. No.
The first Avengers, maybe.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. No. Well, the other thing too that just kind of got me curious as you were talking about the farm is when he steps on the Legos and stuff.
And sweeps
him under the chair.
I was kind of like.
That was great.
Is that supposed to be hinting towards something, or is it just?
I think that's embarrassment.
Yeah, I think
I think that's a moment of embarrassment.
Thor in the comic books is originally supposed to be tied in with a human, so he's supposed to be learning conscious and human emotions and how to be human, and it's really cool.
This scene's awesome for fun. So again, we're watching Spider-Man 3 tonight, and we are at Tommy's favorite scene, which is Peter Parker dancing down the street, kind of flirting with women and hitting on Betty Brant with his emo hair, and doing his little, finger pointing bit. And this is Tommy's favorite part. So we're just gonna,
Where's the Punisher when you need him? Speaking of the Punisher, that is confirmed now, isn't it?
What?
The Tom Hardy. They were talking about the casting of Tom Hardy for Punisher.
No, he wants to play the Punisher. There's no confirmation.
Well, social media is blown up with Thomas Jane trying to get Thomas Jane back.
Nope. Pass.
What about the fight with the Russian?
I don't care.
The fight with the
freaking
Russian.
That was cool 11 years ago. It's 11 years now since he did the Punisher.
Why do you gotta ruin my childhood?
That's not your childhood. That's like high school.
Why do you gotta ruin my high schoolhood?
Everyone's high schoolhood is ruined. Okay, we weren't all Ducky and Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles. So John Hughes.
No, it's come out with Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck is awesome. And I think probably one of my actual favorite character pieces was probably Scarlet Witch. I think they did a very good job with her as far as how strong she is, how powerful she actually is, and the closeness of the relationship with her and the brother was done very well. I believed it. I bought it. The accent, she nailed it. She nailed a Eastern European accent. I bought it completely. And I was actually surprised at just how hot Elizabeth Olsen is.
Scarlet Witch.
That is one of the Olsens?
Wanda.
Yeah.
You said Scarlet Witch.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is that
that's who she is.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Is that the Olsen from Godzilla?
Yes, that's the Olsen from Godzilla. Yeah.
It's just been funny if one of them there was like, from Mother Russia.
She was really good.
Yeah.
And her interaction with Pietro was the best.
Yes.
Best.
I bought it. I bought the relationship. They were great. Their closeness, their dependency on each other, and how, as BJ decided to ruin the ending of the film, if you didn't know, yes, Quicksilver does die, and her reaction to it, her just dropping to her knees, completely lost and yelling and crying. And there's this lovely kind of above shot that they took in the film of her dropping to the ground, and you see all her power just purge out of her and destroy everything around her. Is a wonderful hint at how powerful this character really is.
Like, ever seen The Wrath of Khan? Like, take that scene
of Khan.
and like times it by 1,000. There you go.
It was awesome, and I'm excited that they could take that and do Avengers Disassembled, which if you've read that storyline, it all deals with Wanda and her unstable mind and everything, and her powers, and how strong she really is.
Now, just really quick, how big do you think she'll be in the Infinity War? Because I was told she is one of the characters that can go toe to toe with the Phoenix.
With the Phoenix, we don't have X-Men in this series.
No. But I'm saying Phoenix's power.
Oh yeah,
it's supposed to be absolute.
Her powers are she alters reality around her and her own reality.
Are you talking about Scarlet Witch or Phoenix?
Yeah, Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Scarlet Witch.
But like,
I was
just
told
think about that.
Could
like,
stand toe to toe with Phoenix.
Her power is incredible. Like in Disassembled, is it?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is actually explaining what her power is and going just like, she's out of check and I can't even control her. You know, I'm trying to piece back her mind, blah, 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 blah. Like, I can't even do it. Like, this is bad. We gotta take her out, do something, you know.
Yeah, she can go toe-to-toe with the Phoenix. She's extremely powerful. She has telekinesis. She can, screw up your mind, make you see visions, which she does in the film, which are great. Great
Her
little
and
pieces.
Vision will get along.
Her and Vision do get along.
Actually, that's right.
They have two kids. Yes. If you,
What?
Yes. No. We're jumping too far. If you've read the books, if you've read the comics, there was a miniseries done, I believe, in the 80s of Scarlet Witch and Vision, and they actually do fall in love. They get married and they have children. This is the thing in the books. I'm not saying that they're going to go down this road.
No.
In the
they
film,
won't have enough time.
I think they could though, because
Phase 3 is going to be the end of it.
No. I don't think Phase 3 is going to be the end.
You think they're going to do a Phase 4?
Of course.
After the Infinity
Yes,
War?
Kevin Feige has renewed his contract with Marvel. He's still staying. Because his contract is supposed to expire.
Oh, yeah, but it's not like they're not going to reboot the universe, you don't think?
I don't think so. Why would
all
they?
the actors, all their contracts are gone.
They still have, you could...
Well, that's the whole thing about rotating in new casts, like it's rotating and bringing in new characters like Quicksilver, like Scarlet Witch, like Vision, Black Panther, Falcon. Because once these the original team, once their contracts are up or whatnot, or if they decide to discontinue,
well, Tony,
you have not necessarily a replacement, but you have a secondary to go to focus
Robert's
on.
definitely.
I think Robert will be done after
Infinity War. Too.
I think so. But you never know. I mean, he was supposed to call at the end after Ultron. After Ultron.
Oh, really?
He was only signed on for Ultron.
That's right.
And then he decided he's going to join Civil War. They're going to do Civil War, and he's going to join onto it. So, I mean, even Chris Evans has said, while Evans is only contracted for 6 films, and then he wants to kind of stop acting and get more into directing, he said he has no problem coming back to Captain America. If he likes the script where it's going, where the character's going, he would definitely come back to that character. Yeah. And I believe it. I think Captain America has been nothing but great to Chris Evans for his career, for his personality. I mean, he's really embodied that character into his own life, I think.
They can do what comic books do and kill off the character and then bring someone else.
Yeah.
Like, they kill off Captain America and then they actually do this really cool thing in the movie where it's Hawkeye throwing the shield to Cap. And in the comic books, Hawkeye was one of the candidates to become Captain America, and he says no. Like, the mantle's too big, I don't want the responsibility, go find someone else. But, like, you can do that. And then with Winter Soldier, you can take him, make him Bucky. Captain America.
Yeah, that's
and then after that, now they have a Falcon as Captain America, which I haven't read anything about.
Yeah, I haven't read
that. But you can go that far, if you wanted to. The only one that they really can't do that with is Tony Stark.
Tony Stark and Downey have really kind of, one has become the other in certain aspects. Yes. Even
in the comic books, it's I guess War Machine takes over after a while.
Yeah, War Machine did take over.
And they switch, but other than that, it's always Tony Stark or
It's all It's for let's say about 90% of the time it is Tony Stark, or even him just with like an automatic suit, which they've already done with the Iron Legion.
The Sentry was so awesome.
Yeah.
Sentry
mode on the suit, which just stands there at the ready.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it wasn't.
My favorite scene actually out of the whole entire movie, which is kind of weird, is the interaction when Ultron becomes conscious. And
him and Jarvis talking.
Yeah, and that visualization of them going through the data and the internet.
And he's learning everything.
And he's talking to Jarvis, and then they're going back and forth with each other. That was just incredible. Like, because you could have just, done something else, and it wouldn't have been great. But because Jarvis has his own color, and Ultron has his own color, and you see them moving around, and
talking to each other.
They even talk about, like, how they don't have bodies.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow. Ultron's like, wow, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like,
where's my body?
Yeah.
Like, he's aware that he should have a body.
Yeah. But that interaction was, I think, one of my, the favorite thing that I enjoyed from that movie. Let's see, what else?
I really like James Spader as Ultron, just in general. Not, like, even if I know he did motion capture on set for the film, like, he filmed himself in a gray suit with big old eyeline, like, balls on his head. So shut up. So you knew where you're looking because this character's supposed to be 9 feet tall. But his embodiment of it, the way he moved, how his voice, and I know we were talking about this earlier. People were kind of criticizing the character of being too charismatic or almost too lax and too likable. But I like that. Almost not.
To me, you shouldn't, like you say, likable and stuff. To me, a villain is kind of one of those things. You get a bit more satisfaction if the villain is someone you want to see go. Now, if you're liking the villain, you want them to last. You want them to stay.
But that also makes their departure more powerful to you as well.
It does.
That's one thing about with James Bond films. When they have a good villain and they go, you feel it more because you've invested not as much, just as much in the hero as you have into the villain. Yeah. And that's what made the Avengers and even Thor by itself, the Thor film, so good was. You were invested in both the characters equally. Yeah. That helps.
The best representation Marvel has done with bringing up a villain is Kingpin and Daredevil.
Yes, in the Daredevil.
So far,
really,
yeah.
Yes,
he like it is really weird and awkward, and like you actually grow with Kingpin.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I just got done with the 5th episode. I think.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Shut up,
dude. Spoilers!
No. I'm not going to that. I'm gonna watch. I'm still watching them. I'm gonna watch it again tonight.
Yeah.
But I had to take a break because Leprechaun was on for March.
Oh, dear
Leprechaun 1, 2,
yeah,
3,
the Leprechaun
4,
series was on
Back
Netflix.
in the Hood, Lost in Space.
Why?
Because
it was St.
Warwick
Patrick's
Davis, and it was March. St. Patrick's. Come on.
Some things I just can't condone, and that's one of them.
You go drinking. Actually, there's a drinking game with the movie Leprechaun. You know?
There's a
Every time he
with
says he's a leprechaun, you drink.
Oh, I've heard of that one. There's also drinking games with Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Every time
he says Khaleesi.
Yes.
Khaleesi. There's
Where Are My Dragons?
Yeah. There's a bunch of things.
Yeah, there's a bunch for Game of Thrones.
Ew.
It's sticky.
Wow. Okay, so getting off topic.
My second scene. Ultron's interaction with Claw. That was really cool.
Yes, talking to
okay. Yes, that was really cool. And then when the Avengers come in and like Stark's like, "Oh, you're breaking Daddy's heart."
Yeah.
All that stuff, all that. And then like when Pietro, like they did Pietro so well with his speed, like showing it. Like I know your problem with Flash is he's not fast enough or whatever.
Well, my problem not with Flash with the TV show is like the way they do it, because I know it is a TV budget, and so it's harder to convey that than you can on a studio budget. Now, one thing I have listened to, especially after this film came out, was the comparison between X-Men Days of Future Past with their portrayal of Quicksilver to Age of Ultron's portrayal of Quicksilver. I will say yes, I did enjoy Quicksilver in X-Men. He had an awesome scene. They did it wonderfully well. It was a period set thing, so his look, his whole dynamic, everything was in that time frame.
Right.
What they did with Avengers, though, was they made him strong. I mean, you got that cool, quick scene in X-Men, in the kitchen, where he's kind of screwing with everyone. They made him a kleptomaniac and like a cocky little shit who likes to screw with people because he's so fast, you know he can't get caught, because you know he's going to believe you. With this film, they give you motivation. Like, he's not born with it. He voluntarily became this creature because of his past. And they explain that to you beautifully in the film. There's a wonderful little scene with him and Elizabeth Olsen with Scarlet Witch talking to Ultron about why they did the experiment and even why they survived it, was their whole motivation behind doing it. And his portrayal of the character was almost heartbreaking. He's like, they're broken, they're orphans. These are orphans who have nothing else behind them except each other, which adds to the character dynamic. And his portrayal, you got to see him leave a wake of like light behind him. He's going so fast. There's this little blue stream of light behind him and shadows, and he's going so fast that everything just kind of slows down behind him.
Yeah. In that on the ship scene where it takes him and slows him down, and he sees the hammer.
He grabs the hammer
fast enough where he's like, "Woo!"
Yeah,
and
he grabs the hammer,
and then they speed it up again, and you're like, "That's freaking awesome, dude!" Like they just showed it perfectly.
And you see him like dodging around like missiles from Stark, and under their repulsor he goes under an Ultron bot, under Cap's shield and decks Cap, and then it speeds up again. You see Cap fall back.
Yes.
Like, damn, that's cool. Or catching Hawkeye's arrow.
Yes.
In like his first introduction scene.
Didn't see that.
And you didn't see that. Yeah. You didn't see that coming?
Yes.
It was so good. Like, I like how they start that line off, and then they pay it off in the end.
Yes.
That was his end line.
That was his ending line.
Yeah, that
line.
was their little interaction.
Their bookmark. That was their bookmark between the two
Yeah.
characters, between Hawkeye and Quicksilver.
That was like
that makes his departure even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like Legolas and Gimli in Lord of the Rings when they
start out one way,
yeah,
and then by the time you end this film with the series,
but they're doing their kill counts right between each other. That competition.
Helm's Deep. Yes.
So that's their competition, like trying to one up each other.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see that coming?
Yeah.
You know.
And Hawkeye does it back to him when they're in the Avengers Tower, and he like breaks the glass and
shoots them.
You didn't see that coming?
And the bullets.
Yeah, you see the bullets slow down, but you're also. I think a lot of people were confused with like why is it slowing down. I think that's Quicksilver seeing it so fast.
Yes,
he's realizing
it.
He wasn't paying attention to the
but that's
slow
him.
motion.
Yeah,
what he
his perception of it.
That I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job with that. And not only like it wasn't always just his perception; it was everyone else around him. You could see them, and when they do that lovely big 360 panoramic shot during the climax in the battle with all the Avengers against all of the Ultron drones, and it was beautiful. The camera's going up and down and all around them, and you're getting all these great movements that you have not seen out of these characters yet.
Nope.
And you're seeing all their powers kind of getting shown. It's like a big show-off moment. My jaw was on the floor.
Yeah, because I've seen it twice already. Well, second time I saw it with you, that was my time where I started picking out things. And in that big fight, they have each other's back. Like, Scarlet Witch is one point, like
she's like holding a drone up, and then Stark comes in and blows it away. Yeah,
or like something was about to hit her, and Stark blows it away and stuff. And like all of them are doing this thing. Cap and Thor are doing their combos and stuff.
Oh my God.
I kind of wish they did more combos though, between not just. It seemed like Captain America and Thor got the really big ones, and then they should have done more with other ones.
Yeah.
But
it would have been fun to kind of redo or find a different way of doing. In the first film, when they do that whole big one camera craning shot, you see at one point Stark lands on the street and shoots his repulsor against Cap's shield, and Cap uses like a big old laser across the Chitauri.
Yes.
I was kind of hoping they kind of redo that again, find another way of doing it.
Well, they did it with
the
Thor.
Yeah.
Thor and
the hammer.
Yeah.
We lined up.
He's kind of
that was cool. I thought they would do more with Thor and Hulk doing their combination, but
I think they kind of harkened back to him. After that, after we're going back to that craning shot from the first film, when Thor and Hulk are on the Leviathan, it crashes through Grand Central Station, and then Hulk punches him off the camera. I think they kind of did a slight nod to it.
Yeah, they did.
After the Hulkbuster fight, where Hulk is kind of coming out of his dream, and he's sitting there in the rubble, and then all of a sudden Stark's fist just comes out of nowhere and, cold cocks him. Yeah. And the Hulkbuster fight's probably one of my favorite pieces, with great little humorous dialogue moments, and just over-the-top action and effects and stuff going. You feel the weight of it. You could feel the weight of every single impact from that, from the Hulk, from the Buster, from how it did, and I like how they reference that even Banner designed that suit for himself as a containment for himself.
Victoria?
Veronica. I designed Veronica too.
But he designed part of the Hulkbuster? Is that
he and Stark together built that as a fail-safe.
Okay.
And I like that it wasn't just immediately the suit comes down.
Yes.
No, first we have a big old containment box to hold you.
Hold him.
And if you get out of that, then we have the suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then
It had a secondary too.
Yeah,
it seemed like secondary, and then it also had other parts.
It had repair parts.
Yeah, but
secondary repair parts
went up when
and broke the whole thing, so you can't use it.
That was
pretty cool. Smart, and even the little character moments of like Black Widow
and Hawkeye.
Oh,
that was awesome.
Yes,
that was like my third favorite scene, where Widows Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye. That was my third favorite.
When they're in the little house,
and she's like, "This is my fault. This is my fault."
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. And he's like, "I don't care whose fault it is.
Yeah.
I'm a man with a bow and arrow, but I'm going to go back out there
because it's my job.
But I can't be babysitting you. Yeah. You know, it's fine if you stay here.
I'll send my brother to come find you."
Yes, but once you walk through those doors, you are an Avenger.
And Spider-Man pops in. Really?
That was a great.
That was
scene.
a nice little.
That was a good scene.
And I like the self-realization of it. Like, even as an audience, it's like the audience speaking for itself. The city is flying. We're fighting an army of robots, and I've got a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Yes.
True. It's a movie. Of course, I don't want it to make sense. I'm having fun.
Right.
And so when I hear people kind of gripe about, well, this doesn't make sense because you can never get a city to go like that. Because think about how long it would actually take to build the vibranium thing under it, and Ultron being self-aware, and then shut up. It's a movie.
Well, that was my problem with Dark Knight. Like, they try to make everything real.
Yeah.
And for me, Batman, he's a guy with gods, and he's just the normal one, and it's not supposed to be real.
But that's the point.
Well, I mean, for Nolan's vision of Batman, it was to be grounded.
Yes,
and it worked. For the most part, it worked. Dark Knight Rises, that illusion kind of fell apart a little bit. Yeah. And so I'm really hoping with where they're going now with Man of Steel and with Ben Affleck's Batman, I'm kind of hoping they go more the route of he's an ordinary guy around extraordinary beings, but he's the smartest one in the room.
Yeah.
Like, he's aware. Yes. Justice League Doom is like the best portrayal of Batman on film.
Yes.
For having exactly what to do with every character, just in case.
Yeah.
And I really hope they do that with Justice League as well. Any final gripes about Age of Ultron? Anything you didn't like?
The only thing
stood out to you that
me,
wasn't
the marketing. Disney's been really good with the marketing, Marvel, all that. But my thing is I was prepared for a bit more of a sinister
villain.
Kind of villain. Yeah, not exactly the whole film. I expected the Avengers to be funny. They had their comedic scenes throughout the film, but when I saw the trailer, I was prepped and ready for a sadistic Ultron. Especially that line I brought it up earlier. It's like, they'll look to the sky and they'll see hope.
I'll take that from them first.
And I'll take that from them first.
Yeah.
That's like he's got an objective. That's his objective. In the movie, they did not use that line. Mm-hmm. They reworded it, and it came off soft. I'm like, this is not making me really disgust your character. Mm-hmm. This is kind of making me like, okay, just flow with it.
Yeah.
And I was even at the end, I'm still looking for reasons to say bye to Ultron, because everybody knows that's going to happen.
Well, Ultron keeps coming back though.
Ultron is everywhere.
He's one of those ones. He's the enemy against the Avengers. He's like one of those. And then there's like the guy that does time travel.
The Doctor Strange?
No. He's like from 2033 or something like that.
I forgot his name. Cable?
Yeah. No, it's not Cable. Damn it.
I can't remember the name.
No, I can't. Shit. He's got a blue face, purple helmet, green suit.
Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, Kang the Conqueror. That's another one. And then,
oh my God, how did I have that?
What are we talking about Kang for?
Kang.
Because we're talking about the Avengers' major
villains. Big villains. Like in the role of Thanos.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Thanos,
Yeah.
But, so Ultron is, one of those guys that, we kind of don't really want to say goodbye because we could bring him back later,
Yeah, well...
I liked him in the fact that he came off as a curious and aware that he was a program, he knew what he was designed for, and the ultimate goal of it. But his thing was, you're doing it wrong, let me show you the right way to save this world. But unfortunately, and they even said in the film, he can't tell the difference between saving the world and destroying it. to him it's the same thing. And that kind of, having those blinders on with that character is what made him dangerous. Because it was almost like a very true believer in what he's doing. And even like the way he would use biblical terms and references throughout the film, like, I will build my church upon this rock. He's talking about the vibranium. Like, he's going to start his new world under the vibranium with the power of it destroying the world. And, what's going to happen to people who are left? Well, ask Noah. There's going to be no one left, except for whom I am. And even the Vision's proclamation himself, what are you? Are you the child of Ultron? Are you of Stark? I'm not Ultron's. I am. Yeah. I simply am. And that's one of the coolest scenes in the whole film is when he casually, they don't make a moment out of it. They don't make it a big deal. It's not like picking up the Holy Grail or anything like that. He simply reaches over, grabs Thor's hammer, and hands it to him. And you are introduced to this character who's so virtuous and pure and good. He's better than all of them in the fact that he doesn't even think about what he's doing. He just does it. Yeah. And that's one thing I ultimately loved about Vision. And I'm really hoping to explore that more as we go into Civil War and Infinity War.
I like how they came up with his name.
Yeah, they never call him Vision. They just call him his Vision, or my Vision.
Yeah, my vision. Yes,
my
that
vision.
Was great when they meet together and he goes, my vision. Yes.
Yes.
The other part I thought that was great too is like when Thor's Ultron's got Thor and he's like, behold the great and mighty, I'm running out of things to say. He's like, it's a little it's miraculously well balanced or something. He's like, you put too much force into the swing and it just gets all upset or whatever.
Yeah, and that's one thing this film still had for it. It was great little character moments, little lines. Like, if you've been listening to the show, if you've been paying attention to the show, we've been saying language throughout the whole show. That's like one of the first opening lines of the film for Cap. And it was a great joke that ran throughout the whole film that I'm honestly hoping keeps going into Civil War. No. But it was smart. It's smart writing.
Well, because in Civil War, Captain America jumps onto this jet.
He jumps onto a jet, yeah.
And the guy's like, son of a bitch! And he's like, language, son.
Your language, son, yeah.
Yes. So he's always done that. And that was a nice, hat tip to that. Hey, we are going to Civil War.
Yeah. And that there was nice little moments in this film. I don't think they were directly trying to set up Civil War, but I think they are nods to what is coming. Yeah. A slight, subtle push of when Cap and Stark were fighting in the laboratory before the Vision was born, and you see Stark call his arm, you see them just going back and forth, and even the conversation out at the farmhouse when they're talking, they're chopping wood together, and you see Cap gets so mad, but you still don't see him get mad. Like, you never actually see his face get angry. He never gets rage or like a curiosity to him. Yeah. He simply rips a log in half and doesn't even think about it. And they don't make it a big deal. It just happens. Yeah. And it's not like they don't stop the scene. And Stark's not even fazed by it. No one's bothered by it. It just happens.
Well, probably would have been more hilarious if Stark was like, "You cheated."
Yeah.
Well, no.
It's like, give me your axe.
They added the comedy is like, oh, don't take from my pile.
Yeah.
But Cap's got this huge pile of wood that he's cut.
And Stark's has little tiny little...
Yeah. My thing for Civil War is, how are they going to do it?
Yeah, because there are no secret identities in this iteration of the Marvel world.
You know what's funny? Civil War, it's one of the most cliche... It's how all team fights... when going back to video games, there's always two forces that fight against each other. The red versus the blue. Captain America versus blue. Red versus blue. That's crazy. I just thought about that too. I was like, oh crap.
But it'd be interesting, and you'll actually see Captain get angry.
Yeah.
Finally. Get angry, get passionate about what's going on.
Yeah.
And him fighting Tony Stark. He gets down and dirty.
Yeah, and that's another thing I think they really play on is Captain America is still, despite all the powers, despite everything he's seen and done, he's still this good kid with good morals. Yeah. He's very grounded. Obviously, when in the first Avenger film, they establish his belief, where he stands on that. He establishes morals. Even in simple things like when they blew up the Leviathan in the first Avengers film, he covers Black Widow with a shield. because he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
Because he's still a nice guy, and he's a proper guy, and I think they're really going to play that up even more in Civil War, as opposed to Stark, who is down and dirty. He has no problem cheating.
Yeah.
He has no problem, hitting you in the back, so he can take advantage of a front shot.
Or cloning Thor.
Yeah.
And making a guy.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. In Civil War, in the book Civil War, Thor died beforehand, and Stark had actually saved a piece of his hair and cloned him, and made an android version of Thor that had the same powers. He could fly, he could summon lightning, he could do all the same stuff, but he was not Thor.
Yeah.
But he was willing to go that far and almost taint the memory of his friend.
Actually, he did, because
Yeah.
that Thor ended up killing
Killed Bill Foster.
Yeah,
in the
one
book.
of their best friends, an Avenger, and they shut him down. But and later on, when Thor comes back from Ragnarok, they have this interaction between him and Tony Stark, and Thor's just outraged and pissed off, and they do battle, and he EMPs his armor and
makes
just
him
goes,
walk home.
Yeah, walk home.
And you mentioned Ragnarok. They set that up a little bit.
Yes.
In the visions that Scarlet Witch gives each character, the vision she gave to Thor was Ragnarok. Was Heimdall coming to him saying, look what you lead us to. Your power. You're taking us all to hell. You're leading us to hell. You're going to kill us all. And that's hinting at Ragnarok in that we will possibly lose Asgard in the Nine Realms and what they are. And I'm hoping it goes a little bit darker than they even did in Dark World.
Well, because I think
characters
they did a lot of foreshadowing on deaths too. Because Infinity Wars, we're going to have to see Vision die.
Yeah,
because he's got the gem.
Yeah, he's got the gem
right there.
But I have a feeling there's. I don't think all the characters depicted are going to die like that, but it was a foreshadow to the deaths in the Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
But Ragnarok, Thor dies.
Yeah.
Well,
Thor dies, Odin dies, they all kind of die.
They all die.
They all die.
Yeah. So that'd be interesting to see. But I'm waiting for him to come back, and if they because his contract's up.
I think all their contracts are kind of up with Infinity War.
Okay,
so I think after that they'll renegotiate or they'll say goodbye to the character.
So they can. I don't think they'll say goodbye. I think they're going to recast, and I think they could.
Well, I mean, the actor themselves will say goodbye to the character.
They might,
and then they probably recast.
But because we're at this really cool point where they can actually go back to Thor when he comes back, and then tie him into
Donald Blake.
The
personality,
and then because that was the one thing I was missing in Thor. Yeah. That interaction
of the mind
between
himself.
them talking to each other.
Yeah.
But that would be cool to see.
Yeah.
And then Asgard on Earth, and then you get into Siege with Loki.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And then Loki's a little kid and has to save Thor. That would have been awesome to see,
Well, if you had to score the film, what would you give it out of 10?
Probably 9.
Tommy?
I'd say 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, when you argue it could be better and stuff, it's because even we talk about
perfect sight.
Well, the other thing too, with the trailer, there's also one more scene besides Ultron saying that one line. There was the scene of the Wakanda princess getting into the pool that Thor got into for his vision.
Yeah.
Now, my thing was, it's that was one of the hints to Black Panther, but the other hint is, of course, the vibranium and Wakanda itself.
Yeah.
And Claw.
Now,
and Claw. Yeah,
Claw's huge.
Claw is a main Black Panther villain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he chops off the dude's arm?
Yeah.
That guy...
He actually puts a robotic piece on himself and becomes his claw.
Hey?
Well, I looked it up actually before I went and saw it again. Claw, it was more of a soundwave gun that he put into himself. But I think, obviously, we take liberties with these films. We obviously address the spirit of the character, but I think they might change it a little bit. And I'm fine with that. I have no problem with it. If I had to score, I'd probably give it a 9. I'd probably give it a 9.2. I actually did enjoy... For the most part, I enjoyed it more than Avengers because I was already established with these characters, and I could simply just see good character moments constant throughout the film. It added a little more heart to it with Hawkeye's family and stuff like that, which was wonderfully done. They gave him more to do in this film, which I'm sure he loved. They added more humanity to Black Widow, and even to Hulk and his struggle with not really wanting to unleash the beast out of himself, because he said, he says that line, the world finally got to see the real Hulk for the first time, and he was so ashamed of it that he didn't want to change again. He was so ashamed of who it's like being caught doing something wrong, like a kid with his hand in the cookie jar, and you feel ashamed. You don't want to look your mother in the eye.
Hulk,
same type of thing.
Hulk, when he's in the rubble, has that look on his face when everyone's just
running away, and it really gave that kind. That was a little heavy to watch because if you were alive at the time, if you remember the aftermath of 9/11 and how it looked at the dust and people running the street with all that debris and that lady bleeding, it just for a moment my heart just kind of shuddered a little bit because I just remember seeing that news footage and it really hit that chord for me, and I think that's what actually made it more.
I'm actually surprised I don't know if it was just like the location or something because they got. It seemed like a lot of the 9/11s, yeah, whatever.
9/11s. It's like 7/11. You can get 24
like
hours.
With Spider-Man, they had to take out a couple scenes.
They took out the trailer with the two towers.
Two towers, and then they had other people complain about certain movies because it like mentioned
Transformers when they had Megatron fly through that building.
Yes. And then I'm surprised we didn't hear that many complaints about. They literally had tower fall.
Yeah, they literally knocked down
with
the tower.
The dust
and the debris and all
the people running.
It was only one tower,
but still it's the memory of it.
Yeah,
that's what can shake people up still.
But the fact that it's been a long time and you still got that connection,
14 years, so and it still connects. With people.
Yeah, but at the same time, now you're going into a bit of the freedom of speech a little bit because the thing is Hollywood's been hit by you can't use this in movies, you can use this in movies, and I think it's time that be broken. I mean, a movie should be able to.
Well, a movie is a form of art. Art
is a form of art, and that's why there are oversensitive people out there. It's like, look, even with the Jeremy Renner thing, I don't know if anybody's been hearing about this, but it's kind of like, look. He's poking fun at it, he's making fun of it, but the problem is now people have turned it into a serious thing. So now this actor is trying to find a way to.
Well, read the comics. She is a giant.
Not as bad as Mystique.
In the book she gets around.
She gets around.
Okay,
she has it. They make a porno.
But my thing is, my thing is that people overreact to this stuff, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, is that for real?" And it's like, well, first off, she's a fictional character. If you want to depict it as real, that's, I guess, up to you. But I don't know what kind of lifestyle you're trying to live. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're one of those ones that's like, is 50 Shades of Grey real? I don't care about your sex life. Leave it alone. But anyhow, the movie is fun overall. If you're reminded of certain realities, of certain things. That's up to you. That's the way you connect with movies. But guess what? That's not how everybody connects. And again, that's the freedom of Hollywood. Hollywood's able to depict what they can and what they cannot. So, what?
Well, I was going to say, they're basing this off comic books. And comic books have always been dirty. Very dirty.
Everybody's like, cartoons are supposed to be really gentle. And I'm like,
kids. They're for kids.
Dude, our cartoons were the most violent.
I know.
I know.
Tom and Jerry,
Bugs
Looney
Bunny,
Tunes,
come on.
Space Cats.
One last thing addressing that really quick is, this is not yours.
Right.
I mean, it is part of you. It might be part of your childhood. It might be part of your growth, something you grew up with, something you love. And yes, I do love these characters, but they're not mine. I didn't write them. It's not my movie. I didn't make it. I didn't write the characterization of it. Therefore, who am I to criticize something that isn't my own?
Exactly. And, I was also going to add too, throughout this whole thing, we've been poking fun at that language thing. Mm-hmm. Actually, where that did come from is that a lot of people complained that in the first Avengers there was a couple, cuss words, swear words thrown around, and people are like, "This is a Disney film." Da da da. It's like, Marvel is a mature line. Like you said, the comics are dark. They can be dirty and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the thing. It's like Disney did not absorb Marvel, so Marvel could be censored by Disney's. It's the same thing with trying to say, "Oh, we're going to absorb Lucasfilm, but we're going to put frickin' Elsa or some crap in there and try to make Star Wars crossover with Frozen or some crap like that." Disney's not going to do that. It's Marvel. If there's cuss words in it, guess what? That's the maturity of it.
There's cuss words in Disney movies, too.
There's cuss words in Disney movies, too. But at the same time, I'm like, you even brought it up. It's like if your kids grow up with the Marvel movies, they're gonna learn.
You're gonna
cuss
hear it.
words.
You're gonna hear it on TV. You hear worse crap on TV than you. I've heard less swearing in an Avengers film than I have in most movies I've seen this year.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a PG-13 film, and they haven't even dropped their F-bomb.
That's why they have the stupid rating system. You know, if you're a parent, you need to educate yourself on the movie before you let your kid watch it. If you're that sensitive, you know.
I was gonna say it would be kind of funny if they had one of Tony Stark's bombs or missiles have the letter F on it.
But like,
it's like you pause it at this frame.
What we're saying about like Johnny and the new Fantastic Four, like if he actually had a shirt said, "Whoa, bro, don't shoot, please."
That might be too far.
But comic books are like that. They push the edge.
They do.
They push the edge.
But the thing is, you've got such a general audience. I mean, and it's a mixture of a bunch of people that just are very oversensitive and very picky, and it's like things should be like this. Well, like you said, Vince, it's not yours.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't have to go see it.
Yeah.
Well, but my kids like it. Then educate
go with
your
kids and have fun.
Educate your kids, or let your kids go with a different, parent figure, and let them enjoy it. Because if you're going to feel disgusted by it, guess what? What you don't like, somebody else could like.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of movies. That's the whole point of why some movies are good, some movies are bad.
Yeah.
So,
and all film is subjective. That's something we've been trying to preach on the show for a while now. All film is subjective. Just because I like one thing doesn't mean Tommy might necessarily like it as well,
right.
or BJ might not like it, or he might like something else. One of my big debates here in this show, in general, actually in our lives, is anime. I'm not a big fan.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, see, these guys actually dig that medium. They like it. They can tell me shows and stuff, and it goes right over my head. And I don't get it. But that's it.
Look at this is going off a little bit to a different topic, but Scarlett Johansson going to be
in Ghost in the Shell.
Motoko Kusanagi in the Ghost in the Shell live adaptation.
Yes,
and she can do it. She has the right character and everything like that. But
I'll tell you after the show.
But we'll go into that another time.
We'll go down another show. This has been another CineMunn podcast. We have had a lot of fun tonight.
Yes.
We've touched on a lot of topics. I hope you had fun with us too. If you have not seen Avengers: Age of Ultron, please go out and see it. Come back to our show. Leave comments in the comment box. We want to hear from you what you thought of it.
See it another couple times this weekend.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 times already. I might go see it again just because it's fucking awesome.
I want to see it.
He's going to see it again.
Down in TJ.
Once again, we're joined by that mystical being from the East, BJ.
Shut the
and Golden Delicious himself, Time Metropolis.
Thank you very much.
You're losing the Golden, man. You got to bring back the Golden. It's starting to fade away.
Hey, where'd that come from?
I'll tell you after the show.
It didn't have anything to do with cotton.
It didn't have anything to do with
that stuff was disgusting.
Language. This has been another CineMunn podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us.